Thank you, everybody, for joining us back here at Nubeva's channel. We're sitting here once again with Randy. And Randy, it's great to see you again. 2025 has been kicking off. How is everything going for you so far this year?
Excellent. I think the year is great. Personally, it hasn't been so great. I've had my third left eye surgery since November, and that's one of the reasons I apologize to all the shareholders and anybody that watches this video. I apologize. We meant to be doing one a month, and obviously I couldn't do it because my I was having left eye surgery. So
Mhm.
hopefully, knock on wood, I have bad genes. I've had two surgeries on the right eye, and my right eye now is 2010, and so I can't wait for my left eye to be good. And it's interesting that one of our employees, his dad grew up not in America, and in the 2000s, early 2000s, he had the same thing that I had, and he went blind. I mean, so
Wow.
this is so very thankful for all the technology and all the medical improvements. So,
For sure. They say the eye is the second most complex structure next to the human brain, and surgery and a lot
likely,
of medical stuff related to eyes has came a long way, as you had mentioned. It's quite
right?
revolutionary. So good to see you're healing and you're on the
Yeah.
up and up. And like you said, everything went well with the other eye, so you're on the mend now, and we're very glad to see it.
Thank you. And if you see me blink a lot, it's just because it's the left eye has sharp pains, but overall it's pretty good. So,
Understandable. What we're glad you were able to come on, Randy, and talk a bit. And just to kind of talk about what we had previously discussed, you guys have been focusing on your lighthouse account, so to speak. You've kind of
right.
pulled back. You're being very careful on what your expenses are going towards and everything, and you're focused on really providing a really solid service for your very important clients right now. Is there anything else you want to say about that before we move on to some interesting investor questions?
Yes, I think a quick rehash on how we got there. I think as you know, when we started developing the ransomware product, it was very, very sought after, and we partnered with a very large partner that is in this field. And it was very successful. We launched with a number of different companies out there, but we very quickly realized that when two or three or four companies get hit by ransomware on the exact same weekend, we just simply couldn't handle that. And our partner couldn't handle that either. And so the analogy that I like to give people is imagine you go into an emergency room and all of a sudden there's, a 10, 15 car pileup because of snow or whatever. And all of a sudden the emergency room is piled with people. And so you need doctors, you need nurses, you need everybody that you would expect inside an emergency room to be knowledgeable as to what's going on. And what happened with us is we always assume that we are providing a product for essentially emergency room services, right? I'll continue using the analogy until it doesn't apply.
Sure.
And what happened was people needed to be in trained in a certain way, and that requires significant amount of headcount and work rate, frankly. And
Mhm.
so that's simply when somebody gets hit by a ransomware, their CEO, their CFO, the head of legal, the board, they're just calling people. They're calling us. They're trying to understand where we are. Frequently we have to provide updates every hour, and so that's that's really not how the company was funded for. And we were hoping that a partner could actually go out and alleviate that. And that simply wasn't the case.
Mhm.
I think we have some shareholders that then ask, well, if a partner that focused on IR wasn't going to work out, well, how about somebody in cybersecurity, right? I mean, there's plenty of multi-billion-dollar companies in cybersecurity that have their own inside IR. And so in those cases, that probably would have worked much better. But at the same time, keep in mind that a company like that, their IR team, again, everybody's IR team is completely overworked.
Mhm.
I think the last stat that I saw was the IR market is short by about 2 million employees in cybersecurity. So everybody's short. And so those people are focused on the product that the partner that we would want to partner with is selling. And
Mhm.
so for us to go in and say, well, partner with us, this is a great product. Well, they wouldn't necessarily partner with that. Their greatest concern is they partner, they make it big, and all of a sudden we become big or we get bought by their competitors. And so that's just not something that they would move forward with. But what typically would happen is they would look at us if they're interested and they say they pretend like they're going to partner, but the reality is they're looking at an M&A.
Mhm.
And during the M&A discussion, they're going to want to know that all the patents are in place and everything else. And so, as we've shared in several of the videos, that's in progress. So hopefully that provides a good rehash as to how we got here.
Yeah, yeah. This it's a problem of scalability with resources. When everyone's in
Right.
crisis mode at the same time, it's very difficult to be there for all of those people at the same time. And luckily, Randy, in talks with some of these patents and everything, one of the things that has helped you
Mm.
guys, or the thing that is kind of being aimed for is implementing a lot of AI in a lot of places,
Right.
correct? That's
That's exactly
definitely
right.
the current revolutionary tool that applies perfectly to Nubeva in this situation, right?
Absolutely. And so I think we also talked about this. We filed 4 patents last year, and we get a lot of questions as to, well, if the long pole right now is the patents, well, when are they going to get done? So a little bit on background, I've filed about 50 patents, all issued except for the last 4 over my career, not just in Nubeva. And so typically what happens is most you make claims in each patent, right? You claim something, you claim something, you claim something, right? And you have maybe, I'd say 15, 20 claims, typically, maybe a dozen or 2 dozen claims. And so most of the time, when somebody who has filed patents before will receive the patent issued with most of the patent claims in them done. Okay, so in other words, I think if we go by probability, there's a very high probability that all 4 patents would be issued with most of the claims in them done.
Hmm.
There's probably a reasonable, I give it maybe 60-40 chance that every single claim inside every single patent would be issued. That's a little unusual, but not impossible. And frankly, most of the patents at Nubeva, we have been issued all the claims. I think what we've innovated at Nubeva is so different than what the patent officers and agents see elsewhere. It becomes such a new thing that they haven't seen it anywhere else, and that's how you normally get all the claims. Okay. I think there's another way to look at this from a probability standpoint. It's exceptionally unlikely that we would not get the patents issued. I think
Hmm.
that would be unheard of. I have never filed a patent that later on doesn't get issued. Now we may decide later on in my previous companies, not in this company, in my previous companies, I may have decided later on that after filing for a patent, we decided, wait a minute, this is not a great value and just not continue it.
Hmm.
But we would never have not received issued a patent by people that have done patents. It's unheard of for a patent not to get issued. Okay.
Hmm.
Then the next question that I get a lot is, well, what's the timing? Typically, I think the patent office can take as long as it wants. I think typically in Nuvera, we've had them faster than in any other company I've ever been with. And that's very unusual. I don't know if the patent agent assigned to our area is just really good. I know that our patent agent is exceptional. I went to college with him. He is a PhD from Berkeley. And so he writes them very well, very clearly. And so there's typically not a lot of things that we would be modified. But from a timing standpoint, it's impossible to know. I think we would, if we got him this year, middle to late this year, I think we would be very happy with that. I
Hmm.
think if we got him early next year, I think that would be probably in the average. That's what I would say. And so there is a possibility that would come after that, but that has not happened while I've been at Nubeva.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to tell why things have sped up. Definitely glad to see it. It seems like since COVID, a lot of things related to agencies have
Could
kind of
be.
slowed down.
Hmm.
Maybe the patent office is the one that actually sped up. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious what else has been going on, Randy. Any other updates tied into AI?
Yeah, I think the most exciting thing, and unless you've been under a rock, I think I've been telling people January and February of 2025, it's gonna feel like 1998, 1997 on the internet side of things. I'm literally recommending to people, hey, change, just like back then, we would say change the browser, change your search engine, right? Use Alta Vista for those of you that are old enough to remember what that is. And then all of a sudden Google came out and goes, oh, let's just Google search and that kind of stuck. Yep. So
Mhm.
I think you're going to start seeing all the LLMs start battling, which is phenomenal. What
Yeah.
we are depending right now is 2 things. One is we need the patents issued. And so that's just something that just needs to take its time. The second thing is we need AI to help us from an emergency room analogy standpoint, right? So in other words, the emergency services that typically a doctor or a nurse is providing inside an ER, we need that for ransomware reversal during the process of doing so. And AI is obviously very well equipped for that. And so there are a number of companies that we're monitoring that we're partnering with right now. A lot of the OpenAI funded startups, for example, that are doing this, that their thesis is to help people do cybersecurity support. There's a number of different, there's well over 20 companies in the startup world that with good ideas that are, somewhere between our revenue to 20 million per year in revenue that are not there to reach the 100 million revenue that they need to reach. And in those cases, they're waiting for the same thing that we're waiting for. Okay. And so what has transpired in the last month and what clearly is going to happen this month is you're going to start seeing OpenAI release their O3 mini that came out. That's fantastic.
Mhm.
You see DeepSeek with their mathematicians come out with RL and SFTs and doing things with much smaller models. And so in much lesser compute. And that's exceptionally exciting. That means for those of us that depend on the AI, that means everything just became much smaller and much faster and much more affordable.
Mhm.
That means whether we're using it for our decryption or key generations, et cetera, key detection, or whether a partner that we would use or a technology that we would use is now much better equipped at being able to answer questions when somebody gets hit by a ransomware, their cost to do business just went way down. I think in the last couple, 2, 3 weeks, depending on when you start counting, I think that the entire cost, it just feels like everything went down by a zero. Okay. And
Wow.
so typically in our world, it people don't start spending less. What they start doing is they start trying to do more. And so we're very hopeful that everything that we're depending on AI, it's just going to innovate and accelerate and come faster and faster and faster. So,
Yeah, I was at an investment conference in December, and Dan Ives was giving a speech related to AI, and
mhm.
people were asking questions. Is it too late to get in? Is it too late to get in? And he said, "Listen, guys, it's the AI party. It's like 11 p.m. and it's going all night. We're going to see reverberations through all sorts of industries, all sorts of shakeups and disruptions.
Right.
DeepSeek coming in, rattled the market a little bit, which
Absolutely.
not to get tangented too much, but that's great for
Yeah,
competition though, and they're truly
absolutely.
open source, and open source means lots of people can get involved. You're going to see more efficiency coming, see the prices come down on it, which is great
Absolutely.
for everybody. But Randy,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on and giving us some updates. Is there anything else you want to share before we go?
No, that's it. I look forward to doing more of these. My eye looks good. Fingers crossed. Hopefully, I don't need another surgery, and so that won't hinder our ability to do more videos.
Perfect. Well, Randy, thank you again for your time. Thank you everybody for watching, and stay tuned for more coming soon. Cheers.
Thank you.